It's the start of meteorological winter time. We're on your side with what we can possibly expect this month in terms of rainfall. Plus, the stunning light show that places as far as Arizona got the chance to see, and the interesting facts behind Europe's most active volcano.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Well, thanks for staying with us for First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We are looking at another good chance for some wet weather tonight. We're currently in that break in the rain that actually happened in the afternoon. You know, it's interesting. That's why I always say, check the forecast each day. Earlier in the week, the models were telling us we'd see this nice little break going into the evening, so that cooperated nicely. We still have some high school football happening out there tonight. Let's get you right over to the radar, though, show you the next big thing, what's on the way. And right now, even though we don't have rain on the radar at this time, they're starting to see some fog development in areas to the north we'll have to watch out for this evening. Temperatures certainly making a nice rebound for today, but as those temperatures and some of these spots here to the north start to fall, get closer to the dew point, we'll start to see some visibility challenges there in these areas, so just watch out for that, especially across the Tennessee Valley. We're seeing perhaps around Walker County some issues there popping up, but here comes the next surge of rain. You can still see it's a ways out there, but this will all lift in later on tonight. It's going to move in by midnight and start to impact west Alabama. We're looking at that active southwest flow aloft, and the main risk for severe weather is going to stay south of our area. I'm not too concerned about any organized severe weather. That said, overnight tonight, we could have a few, in addition to the rain, some rumbles of thunder and some thunderstorms making their way into the area. Look at our Weather Watcher report. You can see so far we measured 1/10 of an inch to showing over a 1/2 inch of rain there, according to Jennifer McAfee at Cordova, but just a few of our select Weather Watcher reports. But this was just round one. Again, this event is far from over. We got a lot more rain on the way. When we look at the data, this is going all the way out through Sunday at 6 p.m. and the rain should move out early Sunday, but you can see by that point, hopefully we'll pick up another inch of rain in most areas. You can see Clanton and Rockford, they're showing over 2 inches of rain. Some of the high resolution models are projecting. But here's the weekend forecast, and you'll see for our Saturday, we've got a 90% chance for wet weather and a lot of rain out the door tomorrow morning. We'll see some showers there early on. It looks like early on Sunday, and then by Sunday afternoon, looks like what we're going to be dealing with, still clouds, a little bit cooler. We'll see those temperatures in the 60s, and we'll have a 40% chance for wet weather there for the first part of the day. And also, right now, I know a lot of folks are in the Atlanta area getting ready for the SEC championship game, and a lot of folks are going to be traveling. You can see our SEC championship forecast in the Atlanta area. A lot of wet weather, and that's where we go live right now to Jake Stansel. Jake, I know a lot of folks tomorrow, when you're trying to get into the place, you got to go through security and everything. Hopefully they have some tents set up for folks out there so everybody's not soaked before they walk into the stadium.
Hey Wes, yeah, that certainly could be the case, and happy to make my Weather Extra debut here. Got the boots on the ground here in Atlanta. As far as today, real quick, I mean, it was a little drizzle, nothing too much, and it actually feels rather nice outside. I know I got this coat on, but it's really not that cold. I got a nice little chill, but it turned out to be a fairly nice day. Not too much wet weather, at least when we got here. But tomorrow, a lot of fans are going to be here. I know we've seen a lot of fans walking by. Georgia, Alabama fans. Darius Rucker's going to have a concert in town here to hype fans up for this game. So there's going to be a lot going on for fans to be a part of, but certainly the weather could be a factor waiting outside. But Wes, thankfully we're going to be playing this game inside a dome.
All right, Jake. Well, that's the good thing, is no problems inside the dome. But if you are heading over, again, a lot of wet weather certainly in the vicinity, and just make sure you factor in some extra drive time if you plan on attending the game. Pack the poncho. It's going to be a wet walk there around the stadium. Well, we brought you this story yesterday of how the drought is affecting Christmas trees in our area. But what about across the rest of the country? Casey Albritton has more from Western Florida.
It's the sound of cutting a real Christmas tree that for many brings holiday cheer. Families in Largo say stopping by North Star, Wisconsin Christmas trees isn't just a shopping experience.
We like having a real tree. I mean, I think some some of our family members have discussed of getting a fake tree for the next few years because it's getting really expensive. But I don't know, we like having the real tree, the real smell.
It's a tradition that started back in 1987.
We take care of families of generations. People have been coming to us.
Seeing the same people every year, it's really nice. I know they normally probably won't recognize me, but they'll definitely recognize my mom because she comes every year. And I was really little when I started coming here.
AJ Payne and Mary Margaret Mason picked out an 8-foot tree at the farm.
Putting it on top of his car is really funny too, so just the whole process of it I think is really fun.
And although the tent looks filled with towering green pines, it wasn't an easy journey to prepare for the holiday season.
In Wisconsin, we had a severe drought. Over the past 5 years, there has been a nationwide tree shortage, so it's been hard to supplement what we don't grow.
Richard Salzman says the nationwide drought has killed at least 5,000 of his trees this year. Employees here at North Star Christmas Trees say some of the trees that are hardest to find are the ones that are really tall, kind of like this one. This one towers over 13 feet. The company also says wildfires out west and a driver shortage is impacting their supply. Salzman says despite the shortage, his team is picking up fresh trees every couple weeks to make sure his loyal customers get the Christmas they deserve.
And above the atmosphere, an amazing phenomena taking place. Check this out. Colorful aurora borealis, or northern lights, were seen as far south as Arizona. I even saw some photos and some tweets that were sent from Las Vegas. Briefly, you could see those northern lights. But it happened early this morning, and it's due to the strong geomagnetic storm that occurred just before 6 a.m. on the East Coast. It allowed the northern lights to be seen further south, more further south than normal. It's uncertain if the lights will be able to be seen tonight in the country, but last night it was certainly quite the show. And what happens there is you get those geomagnetic storms that interacts with the Earth's magnetosphere, and it causes those lights to just dance across the sky, the northern lights. And if you see, I've noticed a lot of posts on social media showing these graphs about these big visibility ranges across the country. It's extremely rare for us here in Alabama to be able to see something like that, but certainly quite a show for folks in other parts of the country. And in 30 seconds, we're taking you around the world for this week's segment of Mets Around the World. Welcome back into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. It's certainly beginning to look a lot like Christmas this time of year in the states up north who actually have a chance for snow. Jess Lanks joins us right now for our segment with meteorologist Tania Michelle for Mets Around the World.
I would say that the interesting thing about weather is it can take you in so many different directions. It starts with a base interest in the weather and the natural and the atmosphere. And there's so many things that can couple with that. And one of the reasons I really like what I do here so much too is it's a little bit more of a unique weather position too, where I do all the traditional stuff you'd see a TV meteorologist do, but I also do a lot of creative stuff behind the scenes, graphic design and projects. And that plays into my interests really well. So lean into your skills and lean into your passions and try and think about the ways that those intersect. If you're really interested in the forecasting element, really lean into that. If you're really interested in coding or graphic design or even there's aviation meteorology and forensic meteorology. There's so many different avenues. If you just lean into your interests and your passions and see where they take you, they can take you in some interesting directions and, really cool stuff.
Well, snow is expected Sunday and Monday in Burlington, Vermont, in those areas there. And around the world, Mount Etna lighting up the sky in Italy. Yeah, check this out. The volcano erupted early this morning, shooting bright red lava and ash into the sky. The local Institute of Volcanology says more than 200 explosions have happened since the start of the eruption. Europe's tallest and most active volcano is said to have the longest documented history of eruptions among all volcanoes, with records dating back to 425 BC. And stick around. I'll have that weekend forecast talking about that wet weather coming in here later on tonight. Plus, we take you beyond the 7-day forecast in Weather Extra. Welcome back into WBRC First Alert Weather Extra. It's officially December the 1st. That means it's almost time for winter. Meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now with more.
Well, I guess it is time to get rid of the pumpkin stuff, everything, because fall's over with, at least meteorological fall's over with. Today's December 1st, which means is the beginning of meteorological winter. So happy meteorological winter to you, which includes the months of December, January, and February, which is just another reminder how many days left before Christmas. Our one and only Lauren has 24 days. Of course, I guess it's going to be 23 now that today's pretty much over with. But the entire weather team, or most of the weather team, excited about Christmas time. So we're talking about December. What can we expect over the next couple of months? Let's go ahead and show you that right now. And we are looking at those sunset, sunrise times. So of course the sun's already set at 4:39 this evening, but look ahead as we go into January 1st, our sunset's a little bit later. Of course our daylight shrinks as we approach winter, but after winter we're looking at longer daylight. So 4:49 is when the sun sets January 1st, and then 5:18 as we begin February. What about those sunrise times? Well, this morning and tomorrow morning, 6:33. On January 1st, the sun's going to rise at 6:51. And of course, as we gain a little more sunlight, it gets a little bit earlier at 6:43 on February 1st. So let's go ahead and talk about what we normally expect in December. And yes, we're entering those winter months, and that's why we call it meteorological winter, because as you can see on this graphic right here, December, January, February are our coolest months of the year. So on average, with our high temperatures, we'll see highs near 57 here in central Alabama. January is traditionally our coolest month of the year. And then as we look at your average low temperatures, normally we'll see those lows drop down into the upper 30s. And then as we go into January, those low temperatures typically average in the mid 30s. Of course, at times it can be warmer than that, can be colder than that, but this is just a basic average. But what about the rainfall? You know, we really could use some rain. And we got a little bit this morning, and we'll have hopefully a little bit more over the weekend. And as you can see with December, we normally see more rain. So about almost 5 inches is what we average in the month of December. And January, February, March is usually pretty wet. So we're kind of thinking hopefully we'll enter more of a wet pattern and get rid of this drought that we've been dealing with over the past month or two. So just a reminder, of course, the weekend's here and we have rain chances. So make sure you download the WBRC First Alert weather app and track the rain, get a future radar, and get all those updates from us. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks a lot there, Matt. And just a reminder, Matt and Mickey talked about this yesterday. When you have our First Alert weather app, the latest upgrade, at the bottom you can actually put the radar in future mode and in past mode. Just make sure it's in present mode when you're looking at the radar. I've had a lot of folks say, where's the rain on the radar? But they're looking at the forecast data. So just check that out. Really cool tool. You'll want it. We'll be sending a lot of updates there on those precipitation alerts through tonight and tomorrow. And hopefully we'll catch a few breaks tomorrow. But I'm seeing off and on rain showers. It's overcast tonight. Visibility looking pretty good. This is the view back towards Shades Mountain here at Brookwood Baptist Medical Center. The temperature at 64 degrees. It's certainly a more soupy feeling night. I mean, the temperatures at this time last night, we were tumbling into the 40s. You can see right now 64. We had a couple of spots in West Alabama touch 73 degrees today. So at least we don't need the heavy jacket for tonight. But areas to the north and east are cooler spots. You get around Hoax Bluff, around Jacksonville and Piedmont. It is still kind of chilly there tonight, but these are areas where we do have this cooler air and this moisture axis to the north. There could end up with some dense fog before midnight. We need to watch out for that. You can see to the north already some visibility issues popping up. That's showing around Red Bay visibility less than a half mile. And then of course we're going to have visibility impacts after midnight because of wet weather coming back, but we really couldn't have, with a setup like this, timed it out more perfectly with some of the events happening this evening. You can see the dry weather continues through 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And then by 11 p.m., still looks mainly dry. I think, though, around 11, we're going to start to see some of that wet weather coming into the west, and it's going to spread in here during the overnight. But a good chance of rain again, like last night, coming in a lot of this early morning hours. But here's the thing, even though we might catch a few breaks tomorrow, there's going to be a lot more wet weather on the map, off and on showers late morning into the afternoon around 3 o'clock. I mentioned earlier, tomorrow's probably the better day if you haven't broken the Christmas boxes, brought those down from the attic yet. Tomorrow's probably the day to go ahead and get some of those boxes out and then get ready for Sunday if you need to put out some Christmas lights. As you can see, the wet weather is going to be with us through tomorrow night. There's 9 p.m. Maybe a few rumbles of thunder. I'm not concerned about any severe weather for us, although to the far south, closer to Selma and down towards those areas, it wouldn't surprise me to see a strong storm. But you can see that wet weather through Sunday morning, areas to the east and southeast starting to move on out. So Sunday we get into the day, better day for any outdoor projects. I think by the afternoon start to dry out. Still cloudy and certainly feeling cooler out there, but the greatest risk for strong storms will stay in those areas to the south. That's where we have that risk for damaging winds, brief tornado, but I saw one report, South Mississippi actually had an isolated tornado report from yesterday, but just mostly a lot of wet weather for us. So far we picked up about 1/10 of an inch of rain. I've seen totals up to 1/2 inch in a few locations, but there's going to be a lot more, at least another inch of rain to 2 inches of rain for parts of the area. And then you can see into next week, most of the work week looks dry. We will be talking, though, about a drop in temperatures Wednesday and into Thursday of next week. It looks like we go from 62 on Tuesday to 53 there on Wednesday, but a first alert for lows back into the freezing range, it looks like, at night. As we go beyond the 7-day forecast, forecast. Here's our First Alert weather calendar. And of course, when you go beyond the 7-day forecast, a lot can change here, but I like to share with you what our team's focused on in the long range. Some of the global data is suggesting that next week, I mentioned the work week staying dry again Tuesday through Wednesday. There's going to be a lot of sun in the mix here as well. We'll just have those colder mornings. Of course, right out the gate here, tomorrow into Sunday morning, 2 days we're kind of focused on for that chance of rain and storms tomorrow, wet weather early on Sunday, and then we have that dry stretch that's going to be with us. But we get to the 11th, December the 11th, December the 12th. All week long, our calendar's been showing a system out there that could generate some rainfall. Not seeing a severe weather risk with this at this point, but it looks like another system that could generate some much-needed rain. But watching around December the 11th and 12th, that's the system that we see out there. And then after that, through the 15th, it looks dry, 13th, 14th, and 15th. But again, that's getting way out there, but we certainly want to let you know what we're tracking. But check in for updates. We'll certainly have updates on the First Alert weather app, of course, with some dry weather next week. A great time to get out and do a little Christmas shopping, and it's that season of giving. And here to talk more about the Gifts for Kids Angel Tree is meteorologist Etna Michelle.
This right here in my hand, once again, is the storytelling bear that's going to be given to a kid in need this holiday season. I'm here in Gardendale in front of the angel tree at this specific location. And right next to me, I have the major of the Salvation Army. Karen, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome. So how does it feel to be a part of the Salvation Army and to work with them as they help the community and help families in need?
Well, this is my 35th Christmas with the Salvation Army, and one of the things I've noticed is that the need is constant, and the services of the Salvation Army are needed in all of the locations where we are. So to do this and to think of a smile on a kid's face on Christmas morning when mom or dad might not have all that they would like to have, that helps me have much joy at Christmas time.
I can only imagine. That's awesome. And so you guys do this every year. All 23 Chick-fil-A's are participating this year in partnership with you all. But it's not just Chick-fil-A that people and families can come in and help out with the angel tree, right? They can go to the malls, I believe?
Absolutely. They can go to the Galleria Mall or they can go to the shops at Grand River. And out there, the angels are a little bit more specific. So if they want to take an angel off that tree, they can either shop at the mall and leave it right there, or they can shop at Grand River and leave it right there. And we'll take it to our warehouse and put it in the family box.
And explain these angels to me. How does this work?
So the angels represent a child who is in need in our community. The parent has come in and they've realized they've hit some hard times, which could be all of us, and they put in what they would like their child to have for that specific Christmas, and so we do our best to fill those wish lists, and then we always get them something that they need.
Well, thank you so much. You heard it right here. A toy like this can be donated by you to put a smile on another kid's face this holiday season. Reporting in Gardendale at Chick-fil-A, Etna Michelle, WBRC, Fox 6 News, on your side.
And we'll be right back with more Weather Extra. All right, it's time for some Weather Extra weather photo shout-outs, and we want to thank you so much for sharing those weather pictures on the First Alert Weather app. But look at this colorful sky there. Valerie Wellington sharing that. Odenville, the sky really putting on a show there in Odenville, Alabama. Lisa Acton sharing a photo of looks like that North Alabama photo there may have been taken about a week ago. A lot more leaves you can see there on the trees, but certainly with the past couple systems that have moved through and all the wind, that has certainly had an impact there on fall foliage. But as we take a look at the radar at the moment, here's First Alert AccuTrack. We're still in pretty good shape here in the short term, but I just want to back the view out and show you what is on the way. You see all this? Yeah, this is going to be lifting in from the southwest and moving in our direction. Looks like starting to see a little bit of development in South Mississippi, but it's still out there, but that's going to be moving in for later on tonight. So we're going to have a lot to track. Looks like for the weekend here, as we get into Sunday, early in the day, we'll probably have a little bit of leftover rainfall. Notice we got a 40% chance for wet weather, but after that, looks like in the next week, smooth sailing there. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, dry weather. Temperatures go from 62 on Tuesday to a high of 53 on Wednesday, and we're going to have lows at night close to freezing again. So we'll have updates on the temperatures and rain chances and lots of radar updates. Weather every 6 minutes returns tonight. Be sure to join us first at 9. Have a great evening.